Hey guys, welcome to the show today. I'm here with my co-host Jen, and you're listening to Lips LA Radio. What's going on, Jen?
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Of course, you were with me on the G-Easy show.
We were.
It's raining today, so we understand in LA it's sort of almost like a holiday, or it's something that impeding people can't really drive in LA.
Yeah, why can't people in LA drive
there's
when
an
it's
impediment.
raining?
I don't know. People can't do anything. It's everything shuts down. Industries shut down. Life shuts down. People cancel plans. So
kind of like it.
We're actually really, really excited to have Saweetie here, and she got here in the rain. So,
And on time.
we want to talk about recording artist, Warner Brothers recording artist Saweetie. Notably, I think you guys would know her from Icy. 66 million views on that song, which is incredible. And we're going to talk about her journey, really, from the Bay Area. She started rapping in her car, which is pretty incredible, to where we are today. She's collaborated with everyone: Kalani, G-Eazy, Quavo, Lil Wayne, you name it. So we have a lot to talk about. Her journey, where she started, how she got a record deal, how she got management. And I think it's a really interesting story that you guys will find is pretty inspiring. So she'll be here in a minute, thick and through in the rain in LA. There's 4 days of a nonstop rain that we have. And here she is. She's walking in the studio now. So welcome, Saweetie. And we just talked about your journey a little bit, and we're super excited to talk about how you started. 14, right? That's the age you started sort of getting into the whole music business? 15, okay. To now, 66 million views on Icy. Pissed, all these amazing collaborations, Kalani, G-Eazy, Lil Wayne, Quavo, you name it. So we have a lot to talk about. We want to talk about your journey, because I think the story is pretty interesting. How you started rapping in your car, how you got a record deal with Warner Brothers. The whole thing is pretty interesting. So take us back to the beginning. You're from the Bay Area.
I'm from the Bay Area, and I also claim Sacramento because I went to high school out there. I just feel like both areas have contributed to the woman I am today. But so fell in love with music, and that's when YouTube started taking off. I thought that I was going to be like an overnight sensation.
Because you were going to go to beauty school, right, initially. Wasn't that something that you were looking at doing?
I mean, growing up, I always wanted to like do hair, do makeup, or just do like pretty stuff. But then I fell in love with music, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
And there was a lot of artists that were inspiring you musically, right? I mean, I know Nicki Minaj was a big inspiration
definitely.
too growing up. And also you come from a musical family. I know that your dad's a great cook. So we're going to get into that because that's what I heard.
Are you even doing your research?
We're doing my research. And also your whole family, like you have this incredible musical family, right, Jen? I've heard that.
Yeah. So, actually, I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit. You said that you claimed Sacramento, but also the Bay, because they had different parts of what they made you as a woman today. So what did Bay Area make you as?
Well, I feel like the Bay is just like, you feel me, the foundation. And then Sacramento was like my teenage years. I'm figuring out like, I'm about to become a woman, but I'm not a woman yet.
Yeah.
So it's just like different, like it's my experiences. I feel like both areas like have like similar like vibes, because people from the Bay did move to Sacramento, but I just don't want to leave Sacramento out, because a lot of good and bad things happened to me out there, so where it just made me who I am today.
That's amazing.
So you're a kid, you're growing up, you're listening to all kinds of music. Your family is a musical family. There's a relation to MC Hammer there, right? Which is pretty cool.
I have a musical and sports family.
Yeah, so tell us about that, right? Because your uncle, I believe, was MC Hammer, which is pretty cool.
Well, like my play uncle. Like our
Play
families
uncle.
grew up together. Zaytoven's my cousin. And the reason why I say sports too is because my grandfather played for the 49ers.
Amazing.
My uncle, I'm so sad for him, but he coaches for the Eagles. My other uncle coaches for the Raiders. And then my auntie like directs ticketing for the Raiders. So
Now you're sad because the teams aren't doing that well this season.
no, they lost.
They lost. I should know that. I'm a music guy.
Oh, okay.
But, I should know that.
Well, with the music and sports background, I mean, I'm sure people are like, oh, like, can I get tickets? Or like, what are you doing for music? What does your family like to do outside of music and sports that no one would ever think? Maybe it's a tradition. Maybe it's a hobby. Like, I don't know.
Well, my auntie used to have like a barbecue every year.
Okay.
And like, we from the Bay, so we have great music. So it's just like a very lit like situation, family and friends, just having a good time. Like,
Is there a good barbecue in LA, sweetie?
Actually, there's this place downtown. What's that place called?
I don't know. I know there's a new place that just opened up on 3rd Street that I want to go to. That's got like a line out the
Barbecue?
door. Yeah, barbecue.
Where?
I don't know.
I'm like,
I'd have to research it, but I there's always a line when I just opened up like a week ago or
I
so.
have to try that then.
Yeah, I'll get you the name. But so growing up, and Gabrielle Union's also your second cousin, right?
Yeah.
You have like a very cool family.
I do.
I kind of want to be part of your family. You have twin sisters.
Cousins.
Okay. So take us to the beginning again. So you're growing up, you're around all this music, and all of a sudden you start sort of like, you're like sing along to songs in your car. You start doing covers.
What's crazy is like I knew people in the music industry, but that didn't make me want to get into music. I was writing poetry, and then writing poetry, over beats is just way more like exciting. So that's how that happened. I didn't have like money to go to the studio, which is why I went to social media, recording myself in my car.
And before that, you went to college and you were thinking, okay, if the beauty school thing doesn't work out, I think I have something here. Like I'm starting to, music is like happening. I'm putting songs on Instagram. People are noticing. I'm doing covers. What was the first cover that people took to that you're like, I have something here. It's working for me.
The Icy Girl freestyle.
That was the first one?
I'm not going to lie. I have something in my car where I'm definitely rapping to. I cannot rap for shit, but I do have a video from that. But on that car note, what was the first car you ever had?
Toyota.
And did you name your cars?
Yes, Bruce.
Why Bruce?
Because he reminded me of the shark from Nemo, Finding Nemo. Yeah, so I called him Bruce.
So, and I heard somewhere it was sort of like the 8th one you did was the one that really took off.
Yeah,
and that's kind of...
It was Icy Girl.
So before that, what were you doing? Like Foxy Brown, Jay-Z? Like what were you working on?
I did Jay-Z. I did a couple of Jay-Z ones. Oh my gosh, they were so long ago. It was like 2-3 years ago now.
But actually it happened pretty quick, right? So I think the interesting story for people is like, how do you start from 14, 15 rapping in your car to eventually getting a record deal with Warner Brothers?
Well, I didn't start rapping in my car until I about to graduate from college and graduated from college.
Okay.
When I was younger, I was trying to like break through YouTube, and that was not happening for me.
So were you putting videos up on YouTube of just like you singing, or what was it exactly?
Me rapping just in my bedroom, on the street, anywhere, and I just wasn't getting any traction. Like I would get love here and there, but it wasn't like Instagram. Instagram was like instantaneous. Like people was messing with it. I would get like 5,000 to 10,000 followers a video. So I'm like, okay, I'm onto something right here.
And at some point you recognize that the song that Kia did, that was like, I should take this song and make it my own, right?
Yeah, because the beat, like the song is already amazing, but the song is so great that people overlook the beat sometimes. So I was like, this is a great beat to rap over.
How old were you when that song came out? I think that song came out when?
Like probably like 8.
8, yeah. So
I thought it was hilarious though that like because I would be too, like little girls would be rapping like.
And yeah, you don't know what you're singing.
And the words are almost a little controversial. So you certainly. So it wasn't soon after that video started to get a lot of play on your Instagram, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is definitely something. Is that when you met Max and the whole thing started?
So I literally met Max
Shout out to Max, Monica.
So I met Max probably like a week after I recorded that. I was like an influencer at a Fenty event. Like a woman event, and he approached me, got my Instagram, saw the video, and was like, okay, like I think you have something, let's record that. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
so there's some truth to the fact that you can start off as like an let's say an influencer, because that's kind of what you considered yourself after college, right?
No, definitely.
And then make it in music, because not every influencer, because there's a lot of influencers that sing, let's be honest, they're not all great. I believe Shawn Mendes was considered an influencer.
Well, what I like about like your brand and stuff is because when people think, oh, Instagram or 1 million followers or influencer, you just think like, oh, they're just not smart and they're all. But you can just tell by your music and the fact that you went to school, like you are a smart and you have the looks that it's like it's rare to find that in. You know,
definitely.
like how Instagram is.
Yeah, there's so much noise going out there. So you're 14, you put the songs up, you go into this Fenty party, and before you know it, you meet Max, and he's like, I definitely think there's something here. Yeah. And then at that point, did the song, like how many views on Instagram did Icy get?
Probably like 70,000.
That's a lot.
But for me, that was like a lot at the time.
Yeah, it's a lot. Still, it's a lot for anyone. So, and then Max was like, "You need to go in the studio and do this proper, right?"
Yeah, do this proper. We did that. Put it on SoundCloud. It did well. It wasn't until I shot the video where it just went viral. Like it got 1 million views in 3 weeks. So that was like a lot for me. And
by the way, it's a lot for anyone. That's just not a lot for you. 1 million people is a lot.
Right.
And did you ever think it would jump to something like 66 million?
No.
Because it actually went from Instagram to like the most added song on radio at some point. So that's a pretty incredible feat. I actually saw you perform it on the roof of my building. because you had I think the record release party there,
Yeah.
and so that's where
you
I live.
Oh, you
That's
got
also
money.
where another one of our friends lives there too.
Yeah.
So we both live there. That's actually where we made our initial connection. So in all transparency, I live in the same building as her manager, which is really cool. So that's kind of where it started, and after that, like, tell us about, like, okay, so from that all the way to getting a record deal with Warner Brothers and collaborating with so many great artists this past year for you. Again, a little bit about that journey and how it happened for you.
So I signed to Warner in January, and
Now they just saw the video. They're like, we want to give you a record deal. Or was there something more to it?
Well, there was several people who were interested. However, like, when I walked into Warner, I felt like they were super passionate, and they felt like they were my family. Like, they were just cheerleaders, and I felt like I was at home when I went into the meeting. So I'm like, okay, that's who I want to sign with. And
sometimes that passion for everyone listening it's really what it's all about, right? I mean, you can meet with like 8 labels, but if that's the label, it's like, we need to do this. This is a thing here. Then you really felt that, so it's great.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so that happened. Released Icy Girl, became the most added song on radio,
Yeah.
And I just started booking all these shows.
And so now you're playing shows and you're getting out there and you did all these collaborations. You probably have some great stories because you collaborated with so many people. So it's like, I mean, lately it's been Timbaland, right? So I know you've been working with him, but also Rich the Kid, Quavo, Kalani remixed Icy, right? Which is crazy. G-Eazy, who was on the show not too long ago. Shout out to G-Eazy, Bay Area. Lil Wayne, Kid Ink. Tell us a few stories about like some of your favorite stories working with some of those artists and like any highs, any lows.
So the crazy story I probably have is about Lil Wayne. I wasn't in the studio with Lil Wayne, but I remember they had like brought me because at first it was just me and Kid Ink on it. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I love the song. Like, can't wait to put it out. And then they bring me the new record, and I'm like, wait, did Kid Ink redo his voice, like redo his verse? And I'm like, wait, whose voice is that? I'm like, I started like losing my like shit in the car. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Lil Wayne. Like, I can't believe he's on the record like with us. Like,
that's interesting that they don't even tell you. You just listen to it, and then like Lil Wayne is on it.
Right, and he goes on right before me, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, besides like the other people I grew up listening to, like, I love Lil Wayne. He's like the mixtape king. Like, I just couldn't believe, like, it would, I don't know, it just kind of like fell into my lap.
It's like surreal, right?
Yeah.
Going from your car to like, how did I end up on this? So,
right.
So you did that, and then some of the other collaborations, obviously, did you like working with G and G-Eazy and Kalani? And yeah, tell us some of those stories.
Well, G-Eazy's really sweet. I didn't know who he was. He kind of just hopped on the record because he has a relationship with London.
Right.
So London got Rich the Kid and G-Eazy to hop on it, and I met him actually the day we shot the video.
Great.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He was in here, Jen, about a month ago or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, good guy.
Right.
And then you have your own label now, right? Icy Records. Is that through Warner Brothers?
No, I started it before Warner.
Okay.
And then I signed myself to that, and then we partnered with Warner Brothers.
Cool. And what's that all about? So tell us about your own label. Are you signing other artists? Are you looking for artists?
I think it's important that I build the foundation for myself first, because I can't help them if I can't help me.
That's true.
So I just want to become like, super poppin', chart a little bit, have the #1 here and there, and then I'll like bring people onto the ship and then, help them out.
What's the biggest lesson that you learned as an artist that when you do come to the time when you sign an artist, that's the piece of advice you're going to give them?
I think the biggest advice I would give to an artist is just to remain yourself, because it's easy for people to influence you or to take direction from someone else if you don't know what's going on. And then when you do that, you stop sounding like yourself. Like, I'm super excited about my project that's coming out, Icy Volume 1, because I feel like I found my sound.
This is not Volume 2?
There's Volume 1 that's
okay.
coming out, and then Volume 2 will follow shortly after.
Well, that being the case, we need to jump to Icy because we haven't even played some music yet. So let's jump to Icy. Again, 66 million views on YouTube. An amazing song. Let's jump to Icy, and we'll be right back with Saweetie. You're listening to Lips LA Radio, and we're here with Saweetie. All right, we're back. You're listening to Lips LA Radio. We're here with Saweetie and Jen. Jen, what's up?
Hello.
Great song. We love that song.
It is. I love that song. I literally rap it all the time.
So tell us, like, how was it to record that song? You just like, it just was like an inspiration. We talked about how it came about, but did you know once you did it, you're like, I feel like this could be a hit?
No, what's crazy is I was doing my car raps, and I had got like busy with work, and I needed to put like another video up just to be consistent. And I sent the voice note to my homegirl, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling this. Like, do you like this? Like this over this Kaya beat? And she was like, that shit is hella fly. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I'm thinking that I don't even like it. Like, So it's crazy that something I wasn't even gonna record has gotten me this far.
You hear those stories, right, of people that like, I wasn't going to put it on the record. It was just sort of a B-side. And next thing you know, it's their biggest song. So
right.
That's pretty cool. So from a song that you didn't think would get that big to as big as it is. So, I mean, there's a lot of other songs you've done lately. High Maintenance, we're going to talk about for a minute. But I also want to talk about Pissed, because that's one of your newest tracks. And there's a lot of talk about social media and blocking people and hate, and there's love and there's hate on social media. It's a double-edged sword. It's something we talk about a lot. So there must have been, and I know Jen, you're dying to ask this question. There must have been some big inspiration behind the meaning of that song.
Definitely.
Just don't get pissed at me, whatever happens.
Of course not. No, but I just had a lot of things to get off of my chest, and I feel like it's better to put it in music rather than retaliate on social media. So I kind of put like a lot of my frustration and my anger into that song, which is why I say like, should I block this bitch? Yeah. Or like these people like, Republicans on the plane mugging on the bitch, making like, man, money's on these white folks.
Yeah. So what we did was I picked a couple lines that I liked from it, and I'm going to ask a question based off of that. So you did bring up the line. It was, should I let her know or should I block this bitch? How many people do you think you've blocked?
A lot. I used to just go on a blocking spree, but I'm like, whatever, they're going to see me shine. So I stopped doing that because there's always more love than hate on my page, but there's always like those couple people that just say those like things to you, and you're like, you don't even know me. What are you talking about?
What does someone have to do to get blocked by Saweetie?
Just talk shit, I guess, right?
You gotta make me feel away, and you know what? I stopped feeling away though, because I started to get to like, I started to become immune to like the negativity, because it comes with the territory. Like the more attention you get, there's the more people have like criticism. The more like criticism you get with that. So
yeah, I mean, the better you do, there's always gonna be haters, but also there's, as you said, there's a lot of love too. I feel like because social media is so faceless and people think there's no consequences, they can say whatever. But I mean, there's probably a million great people saying great things and always like one hater. So who cares about those haters? So, but yeah, so obviously we want to focus on all the good stuff. And so DMs, I mean, you're getting DMs all the time. People are sliding to DMs, right? I mean, there's got to be some interesting ones. I heard somewhere on one of your interviews, because clearly we've done our research here, Saweetie. There was a bathwater one. I mean, there's some interesting ones that you've gotten, right? So is there like a couple that stand out, like super positive, and a couple weird ones?
I really don't like to name drop, so I'm not gonna name drop. But you
could just just tell us. Nobody else will hear.
Okay, no, but I just think it's dope when like people like I admire, or people who I like listen to, like reach out to me and be like, "Yo, keep going. Like we love what you're doing."
Yeah, that's always a great thing, right? It's always like positive inspiration, aspiration.
And so I'm like, damn, you know who I am?
So we can't know who that is, but it's still cool that happens for sure. So, so you also added to the Rolling Stones Artists You Need to Know, which is amazing. You were featured in Rihanna's Fenty Beauty campaign. How did that come about?
So my homegirl who I went to school with works for them, and she showed their team my Icy Girl video, and they're like, wow, she'd be perfect with the Fenty campaign.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's how that happened.
And let's talk about you and fashion, right? Because that's how we got connected through your team too. So fashion, like you have some cosmetic stuff you might be working on this year. Like what in a perfect world, right?
Lip gloss.
2019. What does 2019 in fashion look like for Saweetie? Is it lip gloss? Is it clothing?
Lip gloss, might be some lingerie, some kimonos.
How important is imaging and fashion to you in this whole space?
Growing up, it's always been important to me, and now that you feel me, I'm making some money, I can buy what I want.
Right, exactly. We all like to make money, so that's cool. So in a perfect world, we're going to see a lip gloss possibly this year, which would be great, and then other collaborations coming up. So did you get to meet Rihanna when you work with her on Fenty? Or
Unfortunately not, but I'm looking forward to that day.
Cool. I actually see a collaboration in the future. So
I would love that.
Are there people that you want to collaborate with that we haven't? Because I feel like you collaborated with a lot of great artists this year so far. So
I mean, Rihanna is like the top of my list, so definitely her.
And so this year alone, 2019, right? What is that looking like for you? Because you started work with Timbaland. And how's that process been? I mean, does he work differently than you worked before with other people? Because he's known as like a master, a song crafter. He's worked with everyone.
Well, his energy is very contagious. So having him in the room is always a plus. But just going to Miami, being in that vibe, recording with him, his beats are just his beats just make you want to rap. So like it's always easy and quick working with him.
So is the process, you know, he brings in a beat and then like you just rap on top of it, or is there music with it too?
So what's dope about him is like he has like an ear for like the artist. So he'd be like, I have something for you.
Right.
And I'm like, of course you have something for me.
Did he have a couple songs for you that you were just like, this is amazing?
We recorded a couple already.
Awesome. And you worked with Stargate too before, right?
Stargate, Hit Boy, Cronkite, Murder.
And also isn't your cousin a producer too?
Beethoven.
That's awesome. So how does it differ, the process of recording with all these different producers? Because it's different for everyone, right? In rock and roll, you have Rick Rubin who records differently than another producer. So what's the process like, and like how does it differ for you, and what does it mean to you? Like who did you connect with the most so far working with?
Well, I would say that it's really easy to connect in person. Like I've been blessed to be put in situations where it's not hard. So as long as we're in the same room together, I'm 9 times out of 10 I get 1 or 2 records out of the session.
Cool. And so this next year, because you dropped a lot of music recently, right? We want to play High Maintenance because we know it's one of your favorite songs. But is there one collaboration or one record that you're super excited about that we need like a little bit of like a scoop, right? Like that no one knows about.
Well, I have this record with Gunna called Lights On. I think he's a super dope artist, so that's something I'm excited about.
Awesome. We want to hear that too. So let's jump to High Maintenance by Saweetie. We also want to play Piss, so we'll come back and play that. But we'll be right back in 2 minutes. You'll listen to Lips LA with Jen, Saweetie, and here we go. All right, we're back. We were just listening to High Maintenance. Is there a story behind that song, Saweetie?
Yeah, it was kind of like Icy Girl. It started on my Instagram page and got so much love. I had to record it in the studio, and it blew up on SoundCloud. It got a couple million streams.
Do you feel like artists these days, like if Instagram wasn't around, it would be a much different career path? Because I feel like it's so integral to a lot of artists now.
Definitely. I feel like social media has definitely helped, pave the way for me, because I wouldn't have had access to the things I had access to if it wasn't for Instagram and Twitter and things like that.
Definitely. It's amazing. Like everyone wants that secret sauce of how to go viral, right? So when you do go viral, it's like just the thing that kicks it off. And so I imagine by even 70,000 views, that's how you met Max. That's how the Warner Brothers thing happened. So it's incredible when you can do something that just connects with people.
Right.
Is there any other artists that you're listening to now that you think like have a buzz that you're like, these are the artists that to watch this year? That, I mean, I've been watching their stuff and it's really kicking off.
Well, I like Summer Walker.
Cool.
She's an R&B singer.
Yeah. That's
somebody whose vibe I really like.
Awesome. Anybody else that even people that you discovered on Instagram? That's always cool when you discover people that you.
I think she's probably the person that just has caught my eye.
Awesome.
But besides that, I'm like really just into my music.
Right. Well, it's funny because some artists don't even listen to other artists because they just want to focus on their stuff.
You know what? I didn't understand that until I started recording a lot. So I have like a plethora of music, and because I do have that, like I don't want to listen to nobody but myself.
Yeah, that's true. I understand that for sure. So 2019 is going to be a really big year for you. Let's talk about your projects, what you have going on.
So I'm doing 2 projects. Icy Volume 1 and Icy Volume 2, just to, continue the Icy
theme
vibes going.
Yeah. And so those are going to drop when?
February, and then I'll release the second date.
Are those full lengths or EPs or single? EPs, great. It's funny because I feel like the EP route is the route a lot of artists are taking these days versus like the old school full length record. So what do you think? Do you feel like you don't even need to put out,
Well, I feel like the reason why that's happening is because there's been we live in a microwave generation. Like people just want to consume it and get on to the next thing.
Definitely.
So, and I feel like projects are just albums are taken more serious. So you don't want to just be releasing albums back to back to back. But EPs, you can kind of get away with that. They're like official mixtapes that you can sell.
Definitely.
When
you were added to Rolling Stones, like artists to watch, artists to know, that must have felt really great. There's so many artists out there. So all these things are like little milestones for you. And so now for 2019, when you see what's going on and culture and everything, I mean, I feel like, is there any place that you really want to play? Like, is there a Coachella? Is there something, is it Rolling Loud? Is there something like, for 2019, I want to hit this plateau. This would mean a lot to me.
I'd want to perform at an award show.
All right. Well, that'd be cool.
I'm not sure which one, but I feel like that's the next.
We should just put it out there for the Grammys, right?
For the Grammys,
right,
why not?
We got to make that happen. So 2019 Grammys, if you're listening, Saweetie needs to be on that show. So we spoke a little bit about Pissed, and Jen, I know we were going to get into kind of the meaning behind that.
Oh, Okay, so I mean, I know that it came from, rumors, and you're very vocal, and I like that because, you're confident. And there's two things I wanted to touch on. So one of the lines was, Saweetie's so monotone, Saweetie looked like so-and-so, Saweetie took my MCM. What's the biggest misconception of you?
I think the misconception is, for one, I'm from like the West Coast, so I don't our style isn't like screaming and in your face, and it's very chill, it's very smooth. So it's like I'm not rapping like monotonous. I'm rapping because I'm just a hella chill ass girl. But and it's just like, let me grow before y'all start criticizing me like that. And then I think one thing I don't like is people kind of bring up people who I've dated before and kind of attribute that to like my success. And it's just like, how has my past helped me get to where I'm at right now?
Yeah,
and I've
exactly.
like been disconnected from these people for such a long time.
Definitely.
And I feel like it's unfortunate because as women, I feel like that happens to us a lot. No,
I
that's
got
true.
questions about that too. So, I mean, you mentioned like that's something that, makes you, so the song is called Piss. What are some other like pet peeves, even if they're like small ones? Like, I hate when I text someone and they call me. I'm like, don't call me. I text you for a reason. Like, what are some of your pet peeves or what pisses you off?
We don't like phone calls, Chen.
So like, I don't mind phone calls. I don't like phone calls throughout the day though. Like when you have to call me every second and let me know what you're doing. Like,
I don't like when I call someone and then they text me back. I'm like, well, you obviously got my phone call, so just return the call, right? There's got to be a reason why you can't call me back.
Exactly. But you did. I like that you brought up how as women, you're right, you do get associated with like who you dated, but you're also a Cancer, and I'm also a Cancer. So are you true to the Cancer zodiac where you are emotional when it comes to like being a girlfriend or lovey-dovey or like tough, like what they say about Cancer? So are you true to that?
And when is your birthday, sweetie?
My birthday is July 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, from what I've been told, no.
That's good.
But I do have a song called Emotional that's coming out.
Is that about that?
It's about how dysfunctional relationships are these days.
Yeah, I think everyone's experienced that for sure. I think I've been in a few of those for sure too.
We all have. What would you guys say are some red flags of like a dysfunctional and like toxic relationship, and you need to just go?
Maybe somebody moving in with you too quick, right? Like the
What's
next
like
day.
the time
I think
frame?
I think the next day that might have happened to me once. Like, can I just stay here for?
The next
people are like,
day?
can I just stay here for a day, and then they don't leave? You're like, wait a minute. Well,
I think what's really toxic, and I talk about this in the song. Like I have a line where I say, I might not pick up the phone, but I still want you to call me. And I feel like people need that reassurance and just need their ego stroked. So even if they don't want to deal with someone, they keep them around because they make them feel wanted.
Good. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's funny because you almost went into a career of like beautician and doing hair and whatnot, and then obviously you didn't go the safe route and you went to like the artist route. So is there any advice for people that want to get into music? Because there's so many different ways, and you're like, hey, you know what? You could definitely go to medical school, you could go to beauty school, but follow your dreams.
I would say just be patient. And it's so simple, but it's so hard to do because I feel like music is black and white. You're either being paid for what you're passionate about or you're not. And I feel like that makes a difference with being successful, not being successful. Because the biggest struggle that artists have is not being paid for what we're doing.
We all want to get paid, for sure.
For sure.
And I really like that you went to school, you studied business, and I was also interested in the fact that your mom is Filipino. I'm full Filipino, and
you are?
Yeah, no one ever thinks that. They're like, no, you're not. You're mixed. I'm like, I'm not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm full. But so the reason, like one of the questions I really want to ask you, you know that Filipino culture is very strict when it comes to your career path. Like you are supposed to be in a hospital and like be a nurse.
Me?
No, like Filipinos.
Hypothetically.
So was your mom supportive? Like when you wanted to get into music, did she have hesitation, or was she always supportive of, hey, it's okay if it's not outside? Because all my cousins are like nurses and doctors.
I would say she was concerned.
Concerned? Okay.
She was concerned. She was supportive, but I think because she was raised in a traditional Filipino environment, she was concerned, but she's no longer concerned.
You're like, Mom, I really want to go into this.
Music.
I want to go to this music thing. What do you think? She's like, absolutely not.
What was the turning point where she's not concerned anymore, or was there a gift you got her where she's like, okay, I'm good. I'm
glad you said that. So for one, I think she wasn't concerned when she was in her Pilates class.
Okay.
And they had me like in heavy rotation, and she was like, she goes up to the instructor. She's like, do you know my daughter? And the instructor is looking at her crazy like, what are you talking about? And she goes, "You keep playing my daughter's song. Like, why do you keep doing that?" Like,
That had to be a proud moment for your
right?
mom,
And she
right?
was like, she's like, "Who's your daughter?" And she was like, "Saweetie." And then like the whole like people around her, the instructor, people who hear that like start, wow, like start going crazy. And she's like, "Wow, I think my daughter's really doing something."
Yeah.
Is your mom on Instagram?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
But she's really fine, so I don't ever tag her because I don't want nobody bothering her. And then the second one for Mother's Day, I got her a Bottega Veneta. How you pronounce that?
Bottega
shit?
Veneta.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm like, I don't know.
Bottega Veneta.
She fancy. But I got her that for Mother's Day, and she goes like, she starts crying, and she goes,
Aw.
"Wow," like she was like, "I wouldn't even buy this." She was like, "You must be really doing like well."
Did you do it like, I love hearing stories like that. Did you do like a surprise? Like, was it like hidden in a garage, or were you just like, "Mom, there's something outside"?
I think I probably put it like in a Pottery Barn bag.
Oh no.
So it's like,
I was like, wait, I'm
no.
like, that surprised me, even
You
though I
wanted to
knew
throw
what it
her off.
was.
Yeah, I wanted to throw her out because she
Yeah.
loves Pottery Barn. But
Yeah.
so like I probably like put it like in a bag that just wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, you
That's
bought
it.
me some plates. Great.
Yeah,
Oh, actually,
yeah.
it's
And which
Bottega
she
Veneta.
would have loved because she just loves the thought
Yeah.
of like she's one of those type of people. But she opened it and she just started like crying.
That's
That's awesome.
amazing. I love hearing stuff like that.
I want to
Yeah.
jump to one of the things we didn't talk about. Actually, your music videos are great, right? So,
Thank
and
you.
you change your look a lot, which is great. And so for Icy, you had blonde hair, which is great. And you
That was my
brunette.
first time wearing blonde hair.
Yeah. I mean, how important is it? Because I know even one of your music videos was sort of inspired by your favorite show, Game of Thrones.
Yes.
New season coming out very, very
Khaleesi,
soon.
That's my sis.
Exactly. So, who comes up with those themes? How do you come up with them? And how important is it to you, like the music video? Because people are watching these things everywhere now. You're watching on your iPhone. You're watching on YouTube. I mean, there's so many different mediums now. I get actually confused when I would turn on Netflix. I'm like, there's too many shows. Just boil it down to the top 10. I don't need 8 million
gotta watch
choices.
You.
You? Okay, I'll watch it.
just
You have a
came out.
favorite
By the
show?
way,
Yeah,
Sweet?
my friend was watching that.
Have you seen it?
Actually,
I've never heard of
yeah, but
It's like, well, no, once you get past, like pilots always like
Right. They're always a
iffy,
little
but once you
sketchy.
get past that pilot,
I
it's
think
like,
I ruined it for myself because like I was already binging and then she comes over and she puts on the show and I'm like, I don't want to watch any more TV. So like
Yeah.
I'm like periodically like checking in.
Yeah,
So it's like I didn't watch it, but I watched it.
it's a crazy.
You know?
So Khaleesi inspired videos for you.
I
so,
love Khaleesi.
so when you're thinking about the concept for a video, is it usually based on some kind of show you've seen or movie, or is it
I
just
just like to
randomly?
daydream.
You do?
I'll put on it and I'll vibe to it whether I'm driving. I've come up with my best ideas when I'm working out for some reason.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is there another one? Is there a new concept? We need some scoops here. Like, is there a concept for your next video we should know about?
I haven't
Scoops are very important to us.
Ooh, actually, I don't know if I should say
You can
it.
tell us.
Well, I really love Chicago, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Chicago, the TV show.
Chicago, the movie.
Oh, Chicago. Okay. There was also a band named Chicago. Okay, the movie. So
Have you guys seen that?
yeah, of course.
from Chicago.
Old school. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Chicago.
All right, so
Yeah, too.
maybe there's a concept there in our future. Do you have favorite shows on Netflix that you're watching?
I'm actually watching Ballers right now.
Ballers.
And
That's
I'm-
HBO. Though,
I'm
yeah.
kind of late though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes those shows like Game of Thrones I really want to watch, but it's like, what is it, the 8th season and like 800 episodes?
That's like the
worth-
best
it's
though,
the
because you
best
can
though,
start from
'cause
the
you can
beginning.
binge.
How do I start? I
and
can't.
binge.
That
It's too
last
late.
show, I literally started it Friday night and I was done by Sunday.
I would
did
never leave
nothing.
my house for like 5 months
That's
if I started
exactly
right
why
now.
they're the best. You're like,
Exactly.
"Don't."
So you're on Ballers. I actually went to set of the first Ballers episode. I met my friend directed it, Pete Berg.
Really?
Shout out to Pete Berg. Yeah. So that's your favorite show right now.
Yes, I love it. I'm
Okay,
binging
cool.
right now.
That's cool. All right, I'll have to tell him that. That's really cool. So let's jump to pissed. Anything that really pisses you off before we jump to pissed, besides negative comments on Instagram and blocking people?
I really don't like when I'm hungry and my Postmate says that it's 45 minutes away.
That's the worst. Let's jump to pissed, and we'll be right back and wrap it all up with Saweetie. All right, we're back. We're here with Saweetie, and you just heard piss, which is great. So Postmates, is there a favorite? You have favorite restaurants in town here that you really like?
I'm very simple. I like pasta and I like sushi.
Okay, but you must have a couple favorite go-to spots. We
Bossa-
won't tell anyone. but-
Bossa Nova and Sugarfish.
Okay, Sugarfish is my jam, so
Oh, we have to go sometime.
I love it. We should. Where's Bossa Nova?
Right up there.
There's 3 of them.
Oh,
There's
is it right
one
up here?
on Robertson.
That banana
Sunset.
dessert cheesecake, whatever you got it. Have you had it?
I haven't, but I'm gonna get
You
that.
should get it.
And last but not least, is there any place that you want to travel to, tour to, perform? this year?
Dubai.
Dubai. You've never been there.
I'm going there this year. I
Awesome.
don't know when, but I'm just putting that out there.
I feel like that's we're gonna do Dubai. We're gonna do the Grammys, and lip lines, kimonos, a lot of other stuff.
And lingerie.
It's going to be a big year for you. Yes, and Rihanna
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Rihanna, if you're listening, we want to do a collab.
Hey, Riri.
What's up? So thank you so much for stopping by. I know it's raining. I know it's a whole thing in LA. Nobody goes out. You made it. It's great. We had a great time. Definitely everyone follow Saweetie. Pick up the music. Warner Brothers Records. There's a lot of new music out there. Check out the collaboration with Timbaland coming up. 2019 Icy Volume 1, Icy Volume 2. I think I covered everything. And if you're not following Saweetie, make sure you follow Saweetie on social media. And shout out to Saweetie's team, Monica, Max, and everyone for making it happen. Thank you. Follow Jen on social media. And thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys.